Most anglers think spey casting is all about power, but the truth is great casts come from timing, rhythm, and a few small habits that can change everything for you. Today I'm breaking down 10 of the best spey casting tips and tricks I've learned from one of the best in the game, Jeff Putnam. Jeff Putnam is an expert, whether you're chasing steelhead, swinging flies for trout, or just trying to fix your anchor. Jeff has what it takes to get the job done. So Jeff Putnam was on the podcast in episode 806, and he had 4 simple steps to a better spey cast. You can check this full-length episode out. What we're taking today, what you're going to hear is his 10 best tips from this episode. If you want to hear the full-length episode, you can go to this blog post, and you can click play here. You can go into Apple, listen to the full episode. But I'm going to give you a bite-sized chunk of what we talked about, and here's a little summary if you want to get more. Okay, let's get into it. This is going to be a fun one. Okay, before we get into the top 10 tips, I just want to give a shout out to Patagonia Swift Current waders. As you can see here on the website, this is what I've been wearing, what I've been loving, the Swift Current waders. They've got a bunch of great photos here. You can see, obviously, they've got the piss sip here. They got the great pockets. You can see very stretchable, very roomy, comfortable waders. I've been loving them. You can see one of the cool features they have is these suspenders. You can fold down from full end to this, which is great. And there's a couple features they don't show on here. Some inner pockets, which is great. Here they have some inside waterproof pockets as well. But want to give a big shout out to Swift Current waders as we get into this. And we're excited to be working with Patagonia this season. All right, now I want to get into the top 10 tips. Here we go. So what Jeff recommends, number 10, is video analysis and remote learning. So this is very cool because what Jeff can do for you is you can actually take a video, and you can do this on your own, or you can send it in to Jeff for a small fee. And what he says is record 2 angles. You want a side and front, and you want to review the D-loop, the anchor, and the timing. And if you do that, and if you just watch video of yourself, this is the first tip, you can learn a lot about what you're doing. I'm going to have a video of Simon a little bit later to show watching him, but you can do it for yourself. If you want to take it to the next level, you can also do this with the video analysis, which I'm going to show here in a second. So let's just jump into that right now, and we will show you that video analysis right here. So as you can see here, this is what it looks like as far as the video. You're going to take those videos, and you can either email Jeff right here, and for a small fee, as you can see here, he's going to go through and he's going to analyze your video. He's going to give you some tips and all that stuff. So if you want to check into that, do that right now. And that's the best way, whether you're doing it with Jeff or doing it on your own. Make sure to video and take a look at what you have going. So cameras don't lie, video doesn't lie. All right, so number 9, let's get into trout spey essentials. What Jeff says is the 3-weight rod is perfect for most trout setups. So you can step up to a 4-weight with heavier wind or heavier flies, and use short heads, light heads, 200 to 270 grains for control in small water. So a lot of times you are fishing small waters, and so you want to use those lighter heads. You can pair with soft tackles. I'm going to show you some of the soft tackles, what those look like. As you can see here, we've got some soft tackles. And one of the great things is, as I just searched for soft tackle spey, one of the episodes that came up was Stephen Bird, which we also had on the podcast. You can see here kind of some of the top searches here. California Fly Fishers, the Caddis Fly Shop. But these are all what we're looking for. So this is the sort of stuff that you're going to be able to swing. And this is what Jeff recommends, keeping it easy as you go. Okay, and so we're going to get into the next one here. Just want to let you know, before we get into number 8, it's not about mastering every single thing. Take one step at a time, and let's get into number 8. Number 8, the key casts to remember with spey: the switch, the snap tee, and the snake roll. And the switch cast, Jeff talks a lot about that. It's the foundation. This is your cast where you're actually just essentially practicing the roll cast. And then you build in the snap tee and some of the other types of casts as you go. He says the snake roll which is one that I still need to work on, is one that you need to get in your playbook for sure. The snake roll is key, so don't forget about that. And practice with both shoulders, because wind direction, if you're brand new to it, you got to realize you got to be able to cast over this shoulder or over this shoulder, depending on where the wind is. If the wind's blowing at you right here in your face, you need to cast away over here on this shoulder, and vice versa. So great tip. Don't try to learn every cast all at once. Try to get the basics in there, and that's what we got. Let's go to number 7. He says use integrated lines, and what this will allow you to not worry about some of the bumping through the guides. So you want to match the head length to the river size. So shorter heads for tighter rivers, longer heads for longer, wider, bigger rivers. Keep the weight near the back for strong roll casts. And you want to also, another tip, label your fly lines so you know, so you don't get mixed up where those are at. A lot of them now have labels on the lines, but if they don't, make sure to label them. All right, number 6, rod feel and choosing quality. Always cast before you buy. Feel the rod energy. So this is a good tip. It's very good if you can get that rod in your hands before casting or before purchasing, because you're going to get a feel for the rod. And some rods are good. Some rods feel better than others. Lighter rods sharpen timing and reduce fatigue. Medium action rods teach feedback and show flaws, and great rods talk back to you. So we've heard a lot about this as far as the rods. You know, you don't necessarily need a super fast action rod. You don't need a super slow action rod. The mediums are probably the best, but you want to be able to feel your fly line. That's the biggest thing. You need to be able to feel the fly line. All right, before we get into the last 5, those are the first 5 of our summary here of Jeff Putnam, episode 806. I want to remind you to like and subscribe, and if you get a chance, leave a comment too of what your biggest lesson has been on learning casting, whether that's spey casting or single. Put that in the comments, and we're going to be giving away special access to Wet Fly Swing Pro as we're relaunching Wet Fly Swing Pro with an all-new system in there. All right, let's jump back into it. Skagit heads and sinking tips. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to do something unique. I'm going to ask Google really quick. And so what Jeff says, first off, you want to keep the weights and stuff, again, simplifying it. Quick reference. If you have 450 grains or less, that's a T8 for sinking lines. If you have a rod that's 450 to 525, that's a T11. If you're up in the 550 to 625, T14, and above 650 is T70. So that just lets you know if you're out there using sinking lines, if you're using a less than 450 grain, you don't want to use a big T17. That's going to be too much. So there's a super quick tip for you. And use floating running lines for smooth shooting. Pick tips based on fly line size, not just sink rate. So determine what you're using. If you're using a small fly versus a big one, that's going to make a difference as well. All right, number 4, casting with both hands. All right, we know this is important. If you're new to spey casting, this is something you should start thinking about. You want to train both hands on top with full wind. So if you're essentially a right-handed caster, you get the right-handed top. If you're left, but you want to be able to do both. So as you get into this, realizing being able to switch on your stroke depending on the wind and the situation is going to be critical. And you can also do the cack-handed style, which is what I do a lot. I'm cack-handed over the shoulder when I have to switch it because I have not mastered everything like Jeff is talking about here yet. We all have room for improvement. All right, number 3, casting rhythm and timing. So take a deep breath. Sometimes I have a hard time doing this. Slow down. Most mistakes come from rushing, and which is what happens to me. You rush and everything breaks down. So count the rhythm. 1, 2, 3, forward. Wait for your D loop to form. That pauses and builds power. So again, when you're coming back, wait for the D loop to form. I'm right now just kind of teaching my kids, and I'm trying to get them to look at the D loop as they come back and see that thing building as it comes behind and building that D loop. And practice on grass before adding water. So again, you know, it's not perfect on the grass, especially with the spey, but you can do it. And I do want to get to a video. I had one of Simon. So let's just jump in there really quick and let's look at a Simon video. Let's see if this plays right now, because we all love Simon. He's the guy actually that I learned from originally. A quick snippet on that because we love Simon. If you want to check this out, how to make a snake roll cast. Here you go. Rio has a ton of great resources. Go check them out if you want to learn. Take this even further. Simon is the man, so check it out right now, and we're going to get back into it where we left off. Let's jump back in here. Casting rhythm, and of course, who's better than Simon to talk about casting rhythm? But again, waiting for that D loop to form, slowing down, and getting that rhythm. All right, number 2, fly presentation and practicing the habits. So present the fly straight, slack kills the swing. So slack in your cast, slack in anything is the killer. So try to take all the slack out of your cast. When you're swinging, you sometimes will do things to change that fly. Short, frequent practice sessions beat long ones. So go out there, if you're gonna go out there for a day for 10 minutes, that's probably better than going out one day a month for like 2 hours. You know, break it up and switch fly weights to learn how time changes. So again, practice different things, mix it up, and keep a fly fishing log to track what feels like what you're using. So again, this goes back to the journal. Don't forget about the journal. Always important, keeping track of what's been working. All right. And number 1, the bottom hand secret is the number 1. If you're new to spey casting and you're brand new, and what is it? Is it a forward cast? No. It's the bottom hand. It's the bottom hand down here. This is what is making the spey cast. So top hand guides the rod, bottom hand drives it home right into the chest. Keep movements compact, short strokes, tight loops, right? So the shorter the stroke, the tighter the loop. If you're off and bigger, it's going to have a big, and sometimes you might want that. Relax your grip, tension kills. So that's what I try to remember. One thing I learned from is that when you hold your rod, don't hold it like this on the top hand. do this. So you actually, your handle, the cork is in here, so it keeps it loose. That's your fulcrum. Down here at the bottom is where you're actually pulling it. That's your fulcrum. Relax your grip. If your shoulder hurts, you're forcing it. So remember, if your shoulder is starting to hurt, not a good thing. Every great caster knows, every great spey caster knows, power isn't in your shoulder, it's in your rhythm, your balance, and your bottom hand. There you go. If you're brand new to Spey, I hope these help. The top 10 tips on Spey casting, we zip through those very fast. The bottom hand is killer. We showed you some good relevant videos and some links. Again, want to just give it a heads up before we get out of here. If you can drop a comment of your favorite tip from this episode, from this short episode. If you want to listen to the full episode of Jeff and really take this next level, go to 806. We'll have a link in the show notes at the bottom. And if you're struggling, check in with me. Subscribe to the show. We're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers right now. If we get there, you get in that goal, and then we're going to be able to deliver more stuff for you. That's what I have right now. I appreciate you for sticking in all the way till the end, and I look forward to seeing you on that next video, and we'll talk to you soon.